Hi everyone, Jasmine here, and I am so excited to talk about our typical monthly blogging Q&A today. So, welcome. Hi everyone. If this is your first time joining, my name is Jasmine. Hi, nice to meet you. And I am here to answer any blogging questions that you may have. I do this every month. It's always the last Wednesday of the month is when I hold my blogging Q&A. And honestly, I just love being able to sit and talk to you all about blogging for 45 minutes to an hour. So if you're joining, welcome. Thanks so much for joining. And I'm excited that you're here. You may notice I'm in a different space than I typically am. I'm actually in my guest room. So my husband is painting my office. We moved into this house about a year ago, and he's been making his way around and painting each room. And it's my office is starting to be painted. So I'm in our guest room. I've been working here for the last couple of weeks while he's been getting that room ready for me. And it should be a nice new room when I go back. So that's why I'm in a different space today than I typically am. So, anyway, getting into our typical chat, the way I usually conduct this, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. That's on the right side of the screen here. Hi, post your questions here. Boom. So, I just posted a message there, you see. And when you ask a question, I will show it on the main screen here. There it is. And we can all see what question you pose, and I can answer it in real time. Now, of course, we don't always get a ton of questions. Sometimes we don't get any questions. And sometimes I am inundated with questions to the point where I can't say anything else but just talk through the various questions that you guys have. And the way it works, you ask any questions related to blogging. I usually have a theme, and I'm going to tell you what my theme is for today, where I talk through some lesson that I've learned throughout my blogging journey that I want to share with you all. And I'll just start with that, typically talking through my topic for the day, and I answer questions as they come in. Now, that's not to say that questions that you ask have to be related to the theme. They can be related to anything blogging. For example, I could be talking about SEO today, and if you want to ask a question about just driving traffic in general or just more of the technical things about your blog, you can ask those questions. That's perfectly fine. So, without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. If you have any questions for me, feel free to post them in the chat on the right, and I'll answer them in real time. In the meantime, I would love to know who's here. So as you jump in, feel free to post and say who you are and where you are in the world. For those of you who don't know, I am in Costa Rica. I'm originally from the States, so originally from Cleveland, Ohio. And then my husband and I, we moved to San Antonio, Texas, where we spent a decade there. And 3 years ago, we moved to Costa Rica, and that's where we live right now. So we've been a little bit all over the place. We love it here in Costa Rica. And I don't live by the beach or anything. I live up in the mountains. So it does get a little bit chilly here, hence why I am wearing some layers today, because it's rainy season, which means it's raining pretty much every day. It rains every day, not all day, just, we get rain every day during rainy season for half the year. And since we live a little bit higher in the mountains, it does get colder for us. And colder being like, I don't know, at the coldest, 60 degrees Fahrenheit. But yeah, we our blood has thinned. It has thinned tremendously, so it's cold for us. Anyway, that's my story. That's me. I'm Jasmine. I told you guys I live in Costa Rica right now. And my experience when it comes to blogging is I have 2 blogs. One is called Blogging Money Life, which a lot of you are on my YouTube channel right now. And then the other is called Miss Millennia Magazine. And Miss Millennia is the blog that I started 13 years ago now. And I've had it ever since. It's taught me a lot about blogging, and I'm still learning a ton when it comes to blogging. So that's why I like it so much. That's why I do these Q&As, because I just like to have these conversations. Okay, so all of that said, let's get into what the topic is for today. So, um, something I was thinking that we could talk about today because, as you all know, there's been a lot of changes lately when it comes to the Google search algorithm. And for a lot of people, that means that they either lost traffic or the traffic has just done something really weird or crazy. I know I've seen that, and having two blogs in different niches. My Blogging Money Life blog is focused on teaching bloggers how to blog as well as travel. And then my blog for Miss Millennial Magazine, it's a lifestyle blog that's geared towards millennial women and teaching them about health and personal growth and finances. There's a variety of different topics that millennial women would be interested in. And of course, one blog is 3 years old and the other one is 13 years old. So I'm seeing some really big swings between the two of those blogs. For the most part, neither of them have been hit at the same time with the various Google updates. And even though I'm doing the same strategies for both blogs, they're both just coming from a different place. One being older, having a lot more content, and and uh, yeah, being older, having more content, and just there's a lot that goes into making a big change on a site like that. Um, it can be a little bit slower to make drastic changes, whereas my smaller blog only has a few hundred articles on it, and it's only 3 years old. So I think it's impacted more drastically with a lot of the Google changes compared to my bigger blog because that one's been around for forever. But when I want to make a change, it's so much easier on my smaller blog because one, when I created it, I did all the SEO strategies for it, and that worked out well for that blog. So when I need to make a big change, like, oh, we're not doing this anymore, great. I just go in and make these changes to these few articles that are here, and I can see the impact pretty quickly. So they both have a benefit for being there and just helping me along with learning some of the things that I've learned. And I say all this because the topic I want to talk about today are over the 13 years of me blogging, I've seen a lot of changes with just everything you can think of. A new social media channel being introduced to like, oh, this big algorithm change for this social platform or for Google or for whatever. And what I have found is that there are some things that just don't stop. Like there are some tips that regardless of what year you're blogging, it has always been relevant. It is going to continue to be relevant. And I just want to talk about what some of those big things are because, yeah, regardless of the algorithm changes, some things just don't change. And that's what I want to talk about today. I see we have Lurleen in. Hi, Lurleen. She said, I'll say that I took Carly's Pinterest course and I finally see my hard work paying off. Awesome. Great. Yeah. I started Carly's Pinterest course and I haven't finished it yet, but really good. It's a pretty good course. And I'm glad to see that you're seeing the hard work pay off. You said it's nothing too crazy, but enough to keep me motivated. I highly recommend her course. Awesome. That's really good. Man, yeah, Pinterest is definitely the way to go right now in regard to like if you're trying to drive traffic to your site, especially if you're trying to recover from a lot of the Google changes. Overall, what I'm hearing uh, two different thoughts when it comes to the Google changes. One, some people are saying like, that's it, Google killed me, I'm not blogging anymore. And then I'm seeing the other side of it like, hey, you can't give up on Google, but you can't depend on Google right now either. So keep doing what you're doing for the SEO piece of things, but find some other methods to drive traffic. And I think because of that, there's a lot of focus on Pinterest right now. I'm actually taking, I'm a part of, oh, what's his name? The guy who did Stupid Simple SEO. He recently came out with a new course called, well, it's not like a course, it's more like a membership program for him, but it's called Stupid Simple Blogging. And he has a variety of courses there, one of which is a Pinterest course. And it's funny you mentioned that because I just started that part of his course today. So yeah, I too am on the Pinterest bandwagon. I do get a really good amount of Pinterest traffic to my bigger blog, Miss Millennium Magazine. Um, and a lot of that's just stuff from being on the platform pretty early and just seeing traffic coming from it. But I haven't seen a whole lot of traffic come from new content that I've posted on Pinterest, which is why I'm looking into doing the course myself. So, yeah, that's a good one to be on. All right. So, getting into it, as far as like my topic, I want to talk about the things that don't change when it comes to blogging, as far as like good tips, things that have worked for me over the years. The first thing I'm going to start with is consistency. Consistency is something that will always benefit you in your blog. Um, so, for consistency, I mean making sure that you're publishing on a regular cadence. If you decide you're going to publish once a month, make sure you're always publishing once a month. Or if it's once a week or 3 times a week, make sure you do it. What I have seen is when I'm the most consistent on my blog, any other methods that I'm going through, whether I'm trying to focus on Pinterest or I'm trying to focus on Facebook or whatever, I'm going to see even more success because I'm consistently posting on my blog. And there's a lot of reasons for that, like your site's being indexed more. If you're set up similarly to how I'm set up, whenever I publish a new blog post, that means that it's being shared out on my social media channels, which means that I'm getting more of those blitzes out there for people to like remember my site and come back and check it out. So consistency is important. And it's not just about publishing content that's important. It's also being consistent with just some of your other strategies, whether that be like posting on social media. You don't want to have a social media account where you're not publishing regularly. And of course, I say this with a grain of salt because we all go through our phases of, all right, these 2 social media accounts are working well for me and these 2 aren't. So I'm going to focus my energy on these instead. That's perfectly okay. But what I would recommend is finding a tool where you can automatically publish some of your older content to those other social media channels, just so people know that you're doing stuff there. So consistency, that's one thing that I think is very important when it comes to making sure that your site continues to grow. JJ posted a question. I'm going to go ahead and answer that. JJ says, hi, Jazz. Can you explain what it means to index a site? Yes. Yeah, of course. So you probably heard this term when it comes to using tools like Google Search Console or any type of jargon around SEO. And pretty much what indexing your site means, well, I'm not a technical person, but I'm going to tell you what it means in regards to like how it helps me in my blog. Indexing your site means that you have your content set up in a way where it can be crawled easily by Google. So it's pretty much like, the way I think about an index is like a skeleton for your blog. You want to make sure that you have all the pathways ready so that when you do have crawls or like, I think about cars on a highway, that Google knows where to go. So you want to make sure your site is indexed with various search engines. And I say Google because that's the search engine we all think of. But I know that there's been a trend where there are less people searching on Google since the recent changes. So the search engine can be Bing, it can be Yandex, it can be any of the other popular ones that are coming up that people are focused on now that Google hasn't been as consistent for bloggers. So yeah, that's what it means when it means to index a site. Now, how do you go about doing it? There's a few ways you can do that. One, you want to make sure you have your website on a tool called Google Search Console. If you don't have a Google Search Console account, I cannot recommend it enough. I was super late when it came to like getting on Google Search Console. And when I got it, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I wasn't doing this before. Here, I'm just going to share the link to it so you can check it out if you're not on it. And it's free. It's just like a free tool like you would use for Google Analytics. And you put your site index there. Now, how do you get your site index? I use tools to do that. So I used to use a plugin called Yoast SEO, and it automatically creates an index of your website. But I've since removed Yoast and moved to Rank Math. So now Rank Math develops my site indexes. And once you have your index, you take the link to it and you put it in Google Search Console. And they're like, okay, great. Now I have the map. I know what to do when it comes to your site. But occasionally you'll find that there are some pages that are not indexed on your site. And these are they, for some reason, they don't fall into the skeleton. They're kind of falling off the cliff. And for those type of articles, one, you want to figure out how to get that fixed within your website structure. But you can also just manually submit them, which is something that I do occasionally. For a good period of time, what I was doing is anytime I published a new blog post, I would take that link, I would go to Google Search Console, and I would submit it so that it gets indexed by Google. But since I moved to Rank Math, they do this for me automatically. So anytime there's a new piece of content that's published, it automatically indexes it to Google Search Console. So yeah, and it does it for that, but also for Bing. And I think there was one more it does it for. And I'm drawing a blank as to which one it is. Let me see if I can check it out. Or which one it's submitted to. But Rank Math is another one. It's a free plugin. Of course, it's a little bit limited on the free version. If you want to move up to the paid version, that's an option too. But free should be just fine if you're trying to use it the same way that you're using Yoast SEO. And I've found that it's a lot better. I've actually seen some increases in my organic traffic since I've signed up for Rank Math instead. So there you go. So it's called instant indexing, and it has a history so that any of your content, well, here, let me just share my screen. I'll show you guys what it looks like. I'm going to turn that on and share my screen. Here we go. Okay, so here's what it looks like in Rank Math. So Rank Math is one of those plugins where, like, I mean, there's a lot going on here in regard to what it does, what it can do. You have all these different setups and setting things you can do. I do all my redirects here if I need to do a redirect. But the section I'm going to is called instant indexing. So what you can do with this is anytime you publish a new blog post, instead of going to Google Search Console and then going to Bing and all these other places, you can just do it right here. And that's the manual piece of it. But what's really cool about it is that it does it automatically. So you see here, I have multiple posts that were submitted to be indexed with the different search engines just 2 hours ago. I didn't manually do this. This is something that's happening automatically. So pretty cool. I love it. You have all these different settings that you can do this for too. I have this set right now to posts and pages anytime that they notice that it's been updated or published, or if something's been trashed, it automatically links that to what do you call them? To Google. So I thought it was a pretty cool feature. And if it's something that you're worried about, like your site isn't being indexed by Google, this is a great tool to do it. So hopefully that helps. Good question, JJ. All right, so getting back into it. My topic I said that I was going to be discussing is just things that I feel like are different blogging tips that haven't really changed over the years while I've been blogging. And the first one I said is consistency. Being consistent with your blog is important. The next one I want to talk about is making sure that you're aware of various changes and staying in the know as to what's happening in the blogging industry. So what I have done, I mean, I've done this over the years as far as like finding different methods and different ways to do this. One way is following different bloggers who blog about blogging. Um, so I know I did that for a few. Those are the courses that I'm taking. I mentioned, why can't I remember the guy's name who did Stupid Simple SEO? I can never remember his name. Stupid Simple SEO. Mike Futia or Futia. Maybe that's why I never know how to pronounce his last name. It's Mike. Okay. So Mike Futia, I followed him for a while. He has a really good Facebook group that I'm a part of for Stupid Simple SEO. And I'm just a part of some other blogging groups too that are really good with keeping up to date with what's happening. Mediavine, if you're a Mediavine blogger, they have a really good community, not just with their Facebook group, but since all the recent Google changes, they've been doing a really good job of like posting different webinars, like live webinars, so you can ask questions about any traffic that you may be missing, or if they have announcements about things that have been changed and things they're doing to help out with different bloggers. That's been a really good place. If you are using the Rank IQ SEO tool, they also have a really good community where they're sharing different information about what's happening. Another place that I have personally enjoyed, and this was before COVID, of course, was just going to different blogging conferences. And I know that it can be a little scary, especially if you're going alone to a conference such as these. But that's where I found like my people in regard to like the people who have a very similar work ethic to me with their blog. You know, they are serious enough about their blogs where they're willing to spend money on a conference like this. And when I leave a blogging conference, not only do I make good connections with other bloggers, but I also just walk out with a lot of different information from the various sessions. So if you can go to some type of blogging conference that's related to your niche, I can't recommend it enough. I mean, it's almost like cramming. You cram all this knowledge that you didn't know beforehand into your brain, and then you have all these notes, and then you walk out with a bunch of connections that you can make. The way I've always looked at it for blogging conferences is if I can get one good sponsored deal from that conference, which there's always booths who are interested in talking to bloggers and working with them. If I can get one good sponsored deal from the conference, it more than paid for itself. So on top of gaining all that knowledge, it's essentially something you can get for free if you're thinking about it in the right way. So I think blogging conferences are a really good way to stay in the know as to what's happening. And then I think another option as far as like staying current with what's happening with blogging is just establishing a mastermind group of your own. This is something that I did after going to one of the blogging conferences. There were some people that I was going to meet there because I knew of them from meeting them in Facebook groups and being on their blogs, and people who knew of me because of course we share this space, and we just started a group chat and finding different ways that we can work together and figure things out. And whenever someone learns about something, that's one of the first places you go. So like, hey, I just heard about this crazy change that just happened with Google. Have you guys heard of this? I share it, and they either have or they haven't. And either way, they're sharing what they know about that thing, or they may come and say something that they've learned about that they want to share with the rest of the team. So yeah, just finding different avenues to stay aware of things that are happening. Really, really good. Something that helps. I would say courses are a good way to do this too, like staying current as to what's happening, but you have to be careful about courses. I've never bought a course from someone who I didn't spend a tremendous amount of time on their blogs or watching their videos or doing something of the sort. At the very least, getting recommendations from other people. Lurleen brought up Carly's Pinterest course. It's funny because she doesn't have to tell me who Carly's last name is. I know who she's talking about. But she's one where, like, I've taken courses by Carly in the past. I am in multiple groups with Carly where I see that she's like contributing and commenting on different questions that people have in different Facebook groups that we're in. And I have heard many people recommend her Pinterest course before. So when it comes to something like that, yes, if you have all these people who can speak highly about her Pinterest course, you've seen her content, she's a no-brainer. You can go and find some good information from what she's offering. So that's how you have to think about it when it comes to the courses, because they can be a toss-up. I've also taken some really bad courses. Luckily, I'm a big fan of like the bundles. So I've signed up for like ultimate bundles, blogging courses. And there's another one too. There's a few like big brands who do the bundle courses for bloggers. And there's always a few in there that are just like, this did not help anything. I can't believe that you passed through to this. If I'm thinking about bundle courses and I'm thinking about conferences, huge difference in regard to like the quality that you can get in a conference as opposed to like in a bundle blogging course. Not to say that I haven't gotten really good content from a blogging bundle course. There's usually one or two courses in a blogging bundle that I'm like, yes, I know this person, I heard about this course, or I know this person knows their stuff. Even if I'm paying this, $100 to get this one course, that's still a huge deal for me. So yeah, I'm not to say that bundle courses aren't good. Just make sure you read through them thoroughly and know who's creating something, what it's about, and if it's something that can help you. So that's what I'm saying for that. So far what I talked about in regard to my tips for that just don't expire when it comes to blogging. One, being consistent with your blog. That's always going to be there. And then the second is making sure you're staying in the know, because this is a industry where things literally change every single day. So being in the right spaces to get that knowledge, if you're not Googling it every single day yourself, is a really good look. And I just talked through some ways that I've done that, which is conferences, courses, making mastermind groups or joining mastermind groups on your own. And then what else did I say? Being in different Facebook groups, that's another good one. Oh, and there's one more in that I'll add, and then I'll go into the next one. But the other one I would say that's good for that is mentors, signing up for mentors. I have had so many blogging mentors. Let me think about this. I have had about 3 or 4. I had about 3 or 4 different blogging mentors. And a blogging mentor is someone that they have some type of coaching service or some type of blog coaching service that I paid an hourly rate for or some type of group rate for. And they gave me advice like that was directly related to my blog. And that outside of the conferences, that's probably one of the most helpful things that I've done for my blogging business. So I know for a fact that I had one blogging mentor that I worked with, and within 6 months of me working with her, I've had my first $10,000 month on my blog. So if you're looking at the price and going like, that's a lot of money, I don't know if it's worth it. If you find the right person who speaks your language in regards to like how you learn and how they do business, if it's similar to how you do business, then spend the money because you'll make it back. Easy. So I'll move on now. I see we have a couple of questions. Lurleen says, do you have any tips for working on my blog while I attend law school? I won't have much time to do it. Yeah, that's tough. I say this as someone who I work full time. I have a toddler. I live in a foreign country, so that means I'm like studying a language and just basically trying to like get by on all the different cultural and just completely different things to deal with. It's hard. It's hard. As of right now, what I would say, despite all of my different things that I'm currently doing, I probably spend about let's see here. I probably spend about 10 to 15 hours a week on my blog. And that's time that I've actually set aside. That's time I've actually set aside on my calendar. So, for example, I do this once a month and I set this hour of time aside. It's on my family calendar. Everyone knows that Jasmine has her blogging Q&A once a month. And that's just accounted for. The same thing goes for me working on my blog. I have a couple of working sessions with some of my blogging besties where we work for a few hours a week. And then I have time that I put on my calendar that's after I'm done working for the day and before my nanny leaves for the day, where that time I'm dedicating to blogging. So if you have a busy schedule, regardless of whatever you're doing, I highly recommend putting a calendar together this to say this is my blogging time. Make sure anyone who you're interacting with on a daily basis knows this is your blogging time. It can't be interrupted, and just take it seriously. If it's something that you really want to do and you want to spend time on, you have to make that time for it. So I would say that's a good route to go for sure. Hopefully that helps. I don't know how much time you have available to blog, but depending on the time you have available, makes a big difference too. I know there were some when I was early in my blogging career, I was working on it a lot. I was probably doing more like, I don't know, 25 to 30 hours a week while also working a full-time job, which is just crazy. I can't even imagine doing that right now. Like I literally don't have the time. I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't sleep if I spent that much time on my blog. I would love to because I feel like I get energy from working on it. But what I will say is some of the things that you can make sure you're focused on doing is one, making sure your content is going up regularly. And that means, I don't know how often you're publishing, if it's once every 2 weeks or once a month, whatever it may be. Take some time to get ahead. If you have like 1 weekend a month or whatever, however you want to schedule your content, your work time, I would say making sure that you have content that's scheduled and ready to go ahead of time is a game changer for sure. So let's do that. And then the second thing I would focus on, if you're limited on time, is what are you working to build right now? You can't do it all, right? You can't be working on how do I build up my Pinterest and how do I build up my organic traffic and how do I monetize with affiliates and how do I monetize with sponsored posts? You can't do all those things at the same time. Even if you were working on your blog full time, unless you have some of those things happening on autopilot, where you just have a schedule where you know you're going to be pitching this many brands and this is happening and that's happening. You can't do it all at once. So I would say for a limited time, scheduling content, and then what is the one thing you're working on right now? And for me, the way I do things on my blog is I like to master things. So if my goal is I need to build up affiliate income with my blog, that's all. That is all I am doing. So after I make sure that my content is scheduled and ready to go, the next step is growing my affiliate income. And that's all I'm spending my time on when I have those designated slots for growing my blog. So yeah, those are my tips in regard to how to manage your time. Just those two things: scheduling content ahead of time and focusing on the one thing that you're doing for your blog right now and master it. And then once you master it, you can move on to the next thing. Because after you master it, you can find ways to either put it on autopilot, whether that be hiring a VA to do it or finding some type of tool that does it automatically for you, or putting something on your calendar so you know, like, okay, it takes me 2 hours to do this task every month. So I'm going to put these 2 hours on my calendar for Wednesdays because I know on Fridays that thing has to come out. So yeah, once you master it, figure out how to automate it, and then you can move on to the next thing. Lily, do you offer blogging mentorship? Yes, I do. It's something I've done on and off over the years. I don't have it like publicly advertised or anything, but if you're interested in blogging like one-on-one mentorship with me, you can send me an email. So I'll give you the email address here. One second. And I just start at an hourly rate. If you want to do something where you want to do more long term or a meeting on a regular basis, I can give some discounts in that regard. But yeah, just reach out to me and I'll be happy to talk about my rates in regard to blogging mentorship. But it's been so big for me as far as like just getting the help that I needed and having someone look at my blog and go, okay, here, all you got to do is this, and this. What are your goals? And I'll say what's funny about that is because a lot of the things that I've learned from my blogging mentors is so obvious. It's like, oh, that's it. I just had to do this thing. But I feel like sometimes we're so close to our blogs, it's really easy to just be like this on it. And you're like, I don't know, I can't see what I should be doing next because you're so close to it. So having someone with the expertise to like look at it from just an outer view can be so helpful. And it's helped me. I mean, it's helped me enough where I've signed up for different blogging mentors over the years that has taught me different things, and it's really benefited me a lot. So thanks for asking that. Good question. Another question from JJ. JJ says, when you join Facebook groups in your niche, how do you stop yourself from publishing similar content to theirs? Oh, I don't. I don't. I honestly, I don't look to say like, oh, people already wrote an article about skincare, so I'm not going to write an article about skincare. But the way I see it is like, JJ, if you and I both wrote an article about here are the 10 best skincare treatments that I've used for my skin, they're going to be completely different articles because we come from a different viewpoint, a different perspective. So I never look at it like, oh, that article, that topic's talked about too much, so I'm not going to do it. Instead, if you're looking at your competitors and trying to figure out how do you differentiate yourself from them, it's more like, how can I put a spin on this that makes it different from anyone else? How can I create something that someone else can't create? So think of it like that. And I feel like you'll get a much better turnout. I think you can have the exact same title, except you can tell it from your perspective. Something that I've gotten, some advice that I got from someone over the years that I thought was so profound is that when we're thinking about marketing and we're thinking about business, we all use the same terminology when it comes to competition. And there's only so much pie that can go around. And I feel like blogging is different. I've met bloggers who do literally the same thing that I do. Like I've met, and I'm not exaggerating. I've met other bloggers who have a blog about millennials and they're trying to like navigate life after college. I've met multiple people who are doing the exact same thing. And when you go to their website, it doesn't look anything like mine. The design is different. The content is different. The way they write their content is different. Their perspective on how they write it is different. I've never looked at their websites and went, oh, I need to change my site because they're talking about these things and I should be talking about those things. No, never. I have looked at some sites before that are similar to mine. And if I notice a gap, like, maybe I should be talking more about this since this seems to be like a popular topic for them that's getting a lot of traction, but never like, oh, everyone's already talking about that, so I'm not going to talk about it. No, if you have something to contribute, and I think one of the best ways to think about this, and this goes into my topic today as far as like things that have never gotten old, because one of the conversations that I've seen from a lot of the people that I follow that's changed with Google is it's not about picking keywords anymore. It's about making sure that your content you're creating is what people actually want. And I remember when I first started writing content, this is how I used to write. And then people were like, oh, but you're not doing keyword research? And I'm like, what's keyword research? I didn't know. I didn't know what it was at that time. So now the consensus is like, you start there. What is the gap? What type of content do you see your competitors making, and what are they missing that you could contribute to make a difference in this space? And then do your keyword research around that. Um, so that's the mentality as far as like where people think Google is going. But the reality is, no one really knows. No one really knows where Google is going. They make another algorithm change that makes no sense. But yeah, the way I see it is look at it from a perspective of how can I contribute here? One of the things I used to do when I first started blogging is I would search for something. I would search for a term on how to do something with my blog, and I would get no results for it. I would get something similar, but not exactly what I'm looking for. Have you experienced that where you're looking for something very specific and you can't find it? That is usually a sign that you need to make it. Once you figure out what the answer is, whether it be like you doing 10,000 other Google searches or you talking to some friends and learning how they did it, that's an opportunity for you to create some content that someone who looks and sounds and is in a very similar place to you are looking for as well. And now you can provide it for them because now they don't have to like look and struggle and learn the hard way like you did. So that was a big roundabout way of saying I don't stop myself from publishing content that's similar to other people's, as long as I can provide something that's new and fresh and a different perspective in general. So good question, JJ. I really like that one a lot, because I feel like those are the type of questions that really get to the heart of like, how do you see blogging exactly? Because it's not a similar field. Like if you're selling things in e-commerce, like if I'm selling plastic cups and this person's selling plastic cups, yeah, we are competitors, but not in the same sense where if I'm selling plastic cups that are not disposable and they're for toddlers ages this size, these ages, and I have these variety of colors because no one else has those colors, then I mean, I'm not really a competitor with, I don't know, Dixie cups, those little paper cups that you get from the dentist and you spit out the water and stuff. I mean, they're not the same market. So think of it like that. Like there's a nice variety of different content out there, and if you feel like you can add a new perspective from what you see, write it, even if it's been written 1,000 times. Yeah, but really good question. So I mean, I'm really enjoying this conversation. Getting back to what I originally talked about as far as like my theme today, and that is things that just don't get old. Tips that I've learned over the years that have not expired. The first is being consistent with your blog. That is so important. The second thing I talked about is making sure that you have a community where you can learn about new things happening in this space. So yeah, that was the second thing I discussed. And kind of the third thing that I discussed just now, based on JJ's awesome question, is think about, don't forget the main reason why you started blogging. And the reason to blog is to help people. When I started my blog in, oh man, that was in 2011. Wow. When I started my blog in 2011, my goal was to make it so that people like me didn't feel the way I felt in that moment. Just to give you a little synopsis of like what I'm talking about. I graduated from college. I got my degree in fashion. I went to the Fashion Institute of Technology. Loved every minute of it. But upon getting this degree, I realized that I didn't want to do anything in fashion. I didn't like the industry. It was way too cutthroat. A lot of my professors were telling me, if you want to be successful in this business, forget about having a family. And I'm just like, I'm not interested in that. And I'm also too far in my college career to change majors. I'm not doing that and staying in college for longer than 4 years. So I just graduated with my degree. And then I was like, now what? I have no idea what I'm going to do. So I was a freelance writer all through college to like bring some extra income in. And I started thinking about the people who were assigning me articles. I used to write for places like Yahoo, Associated Press. And I felt that if I could be that person, the publisher, maybe I can make more money than what I was making freelance writing. And that's how I started my blog, Miss Millennium Magazine. And I wrote about women who may be going through something similar. When I had some friends who were way more together than me because I just graduated. Like, I guess I'll figure it out. I have no career prospects. I don't know if I'm going to grad school. I don't know if I'm going to get a job. I don't know what I'm doing. And I had some friends who they graduated with a job offer, or they still felt very confident in what they majored in, and they knew exactly where to go and what to do. And when I started talking to those people, they're like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing either. So when I realized it wasn't just me, it just gave me even more motivation to develop my blog. And it has opened so many doors for me ever since. So yeah, so long as your heart is in the right place in regards to what your topic is, and if you actually want to help people, just make sure you're keeping that in mind. That doesn't get old. That doesn't expire. People need help. And even though there's a ton of content out there, I'm always amazed at when I find a piece of content that just speaks to me right here. I'll be watching a video on TikTok and someone describes something that are you in my brain? Oh my God. So yeah, that's what we're creating here. That's the feeling we want people to have when they read our content. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I would say that would be my other thing, that it never expires when it comes to blogging. We're here to help people, and we're helping people who still like to read online outside of watching a video or doing some other things. So yeah, keep that in mind. Another question, JJ said, thank you for your great answers as usual. Oh, thank you. I find topics I want to write about, but I don't really understand how keyword research comes in. I find it from popular news sources. So yeah, keyword research it's a beast all on its own. And there's a few ways to do it. I actually have a pretty good video on my YouTube channel that's about keyword research. Go when you get out of this video, go ahead and search on my channel for keyword research. And I have a video that talked about a strategy that I would do before I found Rank IQ. So you can use that, but I recommend Rank IQ. I think that is a really good tool. The thing is, with keyword research, you have to use a tool. It kind of doesn't matter what tool you use, but you need some insights that you're not going to get just from doing a search on Google. Now, popular news sources, that could be a good way to look at it. But the thing is, you don't know how many other people are writing about that same topic. And for the people who are writing, you don't know how many people are searching for it. So things you need to have when it comes to good keyword research. A good keyword has a good amount of people looking for it. You don't want to have a keyword where literally 0 people are searching for it. So that's the first thing. The second thing you want to have when it comes to good keyword research is you want to make sure it has low competition. So depending on your domain authority, let's say you have a domain authority of 10. And domain authorities can be anywhere from 0 to 100. You have a domain authority of 10, and people are searching for this. There's thousands of people who want the answer to this topic for these keywords. But all the other people who have written about this before, not from your perspective, of course, they have a domain authority of 60. You're not going to come up on search at all. So those are the elements you want to make sure you're aware of, because you don't want to waste your time on a keyword that you're never going to rank for. So those are the 2 things I would say be mindful of when it comes to keyword research. If you're new to it, I think a tool like Rank IQ is amazing. I talk about it all the time, and even with all the changes that have happened with Google, Rank IQ continues to be a great resource for me. Pretty much what Rank IQ is it's a platform where this guy does a bunch of keyword research on his own, and he finds those keywords and he puts them into a database, and he has what the competition is for it, how many people are searching for it. But what he does is he breaks it down kindergarten style. So he'll set it up like, do you want to rank on average? Do you want to rank ultra fast? Do you want to rank fast? So he has it by speed or how long it's going to take you to rank for that keyword. And you can pick keywords based on like what your domain authority is. So they make it very easy. And then once you select your keyword, it gives you a list of other related keywords that you can include so that you can rank for that particular word. So yeah, I think come up with a good topic. And then when it comes to the keyword research part of it, use a tool like RankIQ, or you can use a tool like SEMrush, which is a lot more expensive than RankIQ, but it does come in handy if you just have some ideas for like, I want to see what type of keywords could possibly come up. You can do a lot of like just searching around in SEMrush for that. So yeah, that's another one. And then another tool I like to use that could be helpful for keyword research is called Keywords Everywhere. And that one's cool because you just buy credits for it. And it works right on Google. It's a Google Chrome extension. And it works right in a Google search. So when you do a search for a keyword, it'll tell you how many people are searching for it, what the competition looks like. And it's great. Actually, that's the method I use when I told you about the video that's in my YouTube channel. So look for keyword research on my YouTube channel, and it'll show you how to do that. And you can buy like, I don't know, 40,000 credits or something for like $10. I can't remember what the pricing is. It changes all the time, but it's super affordable if you want to do a tool like that. But all that to say, there are many ways to do keyword research, and it is still important. That's something that I'm hearing from everyone. Anyone who still continue to do SEO with their website, even though methods are changing in regard to how we create content, what I've heard is you don't want to just do keyword research and write about something that has no soul. It doesn't have a piece of you. It has to have your perspective in it and to make you stand apart from your competitors. So yeah, I hope that is helpful because that was something I didn't understand for a long time. And once I got it, it was like this. And the thing too about keyword research is it helps with getting the right people to buy affiliate links on your website. Oh my goodness. I had no idea it was going to hit like this when I figured that part out. But if you have an affiliate article you're writing, like here are 5 face washes I use and here's the best one, and you use the right keyword for that, now you have people who are like, what's the best face wash to buy? You want those people because they already decided they're going to buy something. Now you're just here at the finish line showing like, here's why you should buy this one, and they're going to buy it. Yeah. So that's what I would say about that. Keyword research helps not just with like driving traffic to your website, but driving good traffic to your site, people who actually want to buy stuff. So yeah, it's important. It's an important part of doing this. And I hope my video on YouTube helps with that. So yeah, let's see. Are there any other questions? I don't think so. Lurleen and JJ, you guys provided some really good questions for me today. So I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the conversation in regard to, I feel like, the blogging strategies that just don't get old, including making sure you're staying consistent, making sure you're staying up to date, remembering that we're here to help people. So long as you're working to help people, you're going to see success. You'll see it there. And if you're not trying to help people, people will read right through that too. So yeah, that's all I have. JJ says, thank you so much. I've written and posted, but haven't hit publish as yet. Oh, JJ, when I tell you, I still, to this day, remember when I first published my first blog post. And I remember like writing it, editing it, writing it, editing it, reviewing it again, cutting some things out, adding some things to it. And then when it was time to publish, I remember my finger doing this above the button to hit publish, like, so nervous. So yeah, I know when you just said that, I know that feeling well. I know that feeling well, but can I tell you that on the other side of things, on the other side of you pressing that button to hit publish, so much opportunity, so much. I mean, I can go into a whole conversation about how my blog has changed my life. Actually, maybe that's what I'll talk about next month. All the ways my blog has changed my life for the better. But yeah, it's all on the other side of you pressing that button. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, and I hope that you gain that courage to go and hit that publish button and let the world see. Let the world see what you have to offer it, how you can help. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's all I have for tonight. Thanks so much for joining. I'll see you guys on the last Wednesday of next month of August. That's what actually, I don't know if oh yeah, I will. I'll see you on the last Wednesday of August. Um, so yeah, I'll see you guys then. Have a good night. Bye.